This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Okay, calm down.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Columbia 300 launches a Spanish version of the website, and I think, as we know with everything going on right now in the United States with the Spanish speaking and everything, this is pretty huge, I guess, for them to take the step there to put a Spanish version website out.
Well, I guess it's kind of got to happen because the Spanish are beginning to take such a stronghold in life itself, and they can no longer be ignored.
Get back, guys. Here it is. The season's on the line. Two receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! No! The Cardinals have knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs. Yes, Vikings ball. Let's play.
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
We're happy for you.
Super Bowl, homeboy.
Well, there's that.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Jet lag disadvantage.
A dog with a note in his mouth should be able to sell those ratings.
the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
It's a little dis, dat, lat. All right. I think I'm going to lose money. Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are brilliant last night. They win in OT. Thunder start tonight against the Pacers. It continues. It's a collision course between the Lynx and the Liberty, as they remain undefeated. The Lynx 8-0, Liberty is 7-0. And bad news on Pablo Lopez. Those and many other topics to get to. Let's spin the wheel of topic and decide where to start.
Commons golf game.
What did you shoot today?
82.
Where'd we play?
Willinger's in Northfield. My first venture to Willinger's this year.
Where'd you hit it on one?
Right up the gut. It was a perfect drive.
How far from the green were you?
I had a 7-iron in my hand.
Second shot?
Hit a terrible 7-iron into the bunker.
Then what?
Caught all ball, flew out of the bunker. It was on the fringe, so I didn't throw it in the rough, but I threw it all the way across the green.
Then what?
2-putt lag for bogey.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, 43-39, couple of birdies on the back, but Willinger's isn't for the faint of heart. Have you played Willinger's before, Teneby?
Yes, I think I played there like twice with you.
It's you got
that first tee shot's intimidating.
Yeah, well, you got to golf your ball at Willinger's. Yeah, the first one is intimidating. It's all forced carry, but then if you hit it too far, because it's kind of like a horizontal fairway. So if you hit it too far and go through it, then you got tree trouble. If you hit it, like you can bomb it. You could hit it through the fairway, up the hill, and into the rubbish, and then you're really in trouble. But I continue to struggle. But it was nice. Riley at Willinger's rolled out the red carpet. He had a cup of coffee ready for me. And baby brother Peter and his buddy Jay joined me, and now we hit knockdown, punch, cut, fade draws. You learn something new every day. I did not realize Nordo was a Brown Institute graduate like myself.
Really?
Yes, I did not know that. We were talking about town to town, up and down the dial. He went a different way, though. I went town to town, up and down the dial. I went to Great Falls, to Wetumpka, to Forest Lake, to Cambridge, to Kemmer, to Huntsville, and then back to Kemmer, back to Cambridge, back to Forest Lake, and back to, and then here to the Fan. Nordo basically didn't leave town. He said, I'm not going to Williston, North Dakota, and read the farm report. The first farm report I read, I got called into the coroner's office because I thought it was funny to say, slaughter steers are slow. And then I paused and said, I know I'd be moving awful slow if I was headed to slaughter. I don't think they figured that the ranchers out there, the cattle guys, wouldn't appreciate that. I thought they would think it was relatively funny. Do you think that's an okay line?
Yeah, it's not bad.
And I hit it. I mean, it was the half-second thing because I wasn't planning to do it. I just said slaughter steers are slow. And the first thing that came to my mind was, I know I'd be moving awful slow, too, if I was headed to slaughter. Why would a cow rush his way to death? So, but he didn't. He said, he told Brown, I'm not taking a job. I'm going to, and then he started interning over at that cowboy rest. No, at that crackpot conservative radio station, KTLK. Yep. And lo and behold, here he is. And you couldn't ask for a better landing spot being the producer of the Paul Allen Project. I can't say it with this.
Huh?
I can't even say it with a straight face. No, working for PAs. Working for PA is a joy. It really is. That's what I've heard. I've not had.
I'd say it's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Amen to that. I've not had the pleasure of working with PA as far as, we're coworkers, I guess, right? We're peers. We do the same thing for a living. I've rarely been on the air with him. The only times is occasionally I've joined him for a quick bit at the fair. They called me up one time to challenge me on my Brett Favre play tonight against the Bears. When I tweeted that out, and I was accused, well, no, that won't work, Common. He's been listed as out. When you're listed as out, you can't play. So I don't know where you got your information, but leave the breaking sports news to the professionals. Yes. Was basically what he and
Judd Zolgad?
Judd Zolgad said. And then 20 minutes later, the news.
Others had said you were just throwing that out to prop up your sagging ratings.
Yeah. And then, lo and behold, 20 minutes after, they brought me on the air to basically humiliate me. Right? They called me up. Where'd you hear that comment? I got a source. Well, just so you know, you can't play when you're out. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, thanks for straightening that out. And then I felt small. And then guess what happened? 20 minutes later, they announced a far placed, and that was his last game he ever played. He ended his career knocked unconscious on the frozen tundra of TCF Bank Stadium field, because at the time it was still TCF, I think.
It was, yes.
And that was the end of it for him. So,
and your ratings have never been sagging since.
No, they really haven't.
It was like a pivotal moment in your career.
Well, it may have been. It sure went a lot better than the Taste Fairy commercials, because as most people know, I was trying to parlay that into a nationally syndicated radio show. That was my whole goal. I thought, if somebody notices me dressed in a tutu, maybe they'll go, that guy should have a nationally syndicated talk show. That was actually written in this town. There was somebody who said that's what they thought my goal was. I was just trying to make a few extra bucks and see if I could become the new spokesperson for Subway. Go national. Become like, I wanted to be like Emu Limu. I wanted to be like the Emu. I wanted to be, well, and you know, it's worked for Sauce. I don't know if people are aware of this, but he's the Jack Links guy on TV. And you know why Jack Links wanted him, right? I mean, for two reasons. It's a non-speaking part. So Meat Sauce doesn't have to utter a word. And then they didn't have to buy him a costume either. There was no makeup or anything like that. Nordo went directly to the big city, much like Rosen. Remember Rosen?
Sure.
Never spent a day in the minors. You never spent a day in the minors, right?
No. I've been at this. This is the only race station I've ever worked for.
Barrero never spent a day in the minors. JG never spent a day in the minors. Meat Sauce never spent a day in the minors. PA never spent a day in the minors. I'm the only guy that spent a day in the minors. Hockey, I think, did,
Hockey did, yes.
Hockey? I think he did. Because Cove, this was his first one, right? He never worked anywhere else.
I know Meat Sauce was working for another radio station. I think at one time he was working for two radio stations at the same time.
Really?
That were in different companies. I don't think they knew about the other one.
Were they in town, though, here? Were they
yes.
major? All right, okay.
No, he was a part-timer here.
Okay.
Was also working part-time at a different radio station for a different company.
That's a novel twist to it. But they never worked in the minors. I just didn't have it. I had to go hone my skills. Is what I needed to do. And I feel like I like that 10-year adventure on the road, going town to town, up and down the dial. I don't regret it for a minute. Regrets a few, just too few to mention. And so here we are. But yeah, good for Nordo. He's made something of himself, just like you have, Teneby. You guys have really done well for yourselves.
Well, at one point in my life, I thought I was going to be a producer for a nationally syndicated radio show.
That's exactly what
and never quite got there.
And then you thought you were going to be a video coordinator for the Wild, and that hasn't happened yet either. But who knows? Do they need one for the Frost?
For the Frost? I'd love to volunteer for that.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say volunteer. I'd love to get paid for that.
Yeah, you certainly would. I would.
Yeah, if they're hiring.
Could ask Mr. Fun. He's in that hierarchy over there.
Yeah, he's big time over there.
He's big time over with that Frost. Though, you know what I heard? In the expansion draft, he was selected by Seattle to be their media person. So he might be out. I don't know if he has to move to Seattle. Tend to be the bluest skies you've ever seen are in Seattle. It's been a controversial first segment already. Well, I don't know where to go next. I got a couple of things up my sleeve. And we have Peek at the Purple on the other side of the break. Don't forget Rosen at 2, and then tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to the last Program Password semifinal matchup in the Program Password Invitational. Sauce and Max, some combustible. Yes, they've got a lot of energy. They'll be taking on Cove and JG. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Has Power Trip Bets put out odds on that yet?
Yes. Corey Cove and Justin Gard favored by 17.5.
Really?
Same point spread that Marnie and Lil B were favored over Rosen and Creasel.
I'll take that 17. And
You go
what I
plus
give this 17 because I think it's going to be less. I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah. So you would take Max and meat sauce plus 17.
Yes, I would take that for sure. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
I think Max and meat sauce are going to win. We'll pause. We'll return with a little Disc Out Loud here on the Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
So you want to start a business. You might think you need a team of people and fancy tech skills, but you don't. You just need GoDaddy Aero. I'm Walton Goggins, and as an actor, I'm an expert in looking like I know what I'm doing, even when I don't. And I like the sound of starting my own business, Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses. But I'm an actor. I don't know what I'm doing. I needed help. GoDaddy Aero uses AI to create everything you need to grow a business. It'll make you a unique logo. It'll create a custom website. It'll write social posts for you and even set you up with a social media calendar. I didn't even realize I needed a social media calendar. GoDaddy Aero will take your idea that sounds good and make a business that looks like you know what you're doing. GoDaddy Aero can get your business up and running in minutes. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a plan. Get started at GoDaddy.com/Aero. That's GoDaddy.com/AIRO.
Get ready to experience the magic of James Taylor.
James Taylor. I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
Live in concert. Don't miss out on seeing the legendary singer-songwriter along with his all-star band when they take the stage at XL Energy Center on June 17th. Tickets are still available. You can get all the details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Peek at the purple.
Brought to you by Affordable Electric. You want to know if your home's safe? How about maybe you're selling your home? Whole house electrical safety inspection from Affordable Electric is a pretty good idea. Their licensed experts will inspect your wiring, outlets, panel, and more to catch issues before they become problems. Whether you're getting ready to list your home or you're just being proactive, they got you covered. Family owned and operated. They treat your home like it's their own. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, as always, this is the warning to you, Affordable Electric is, I don't have my sound effect. Can you just do
It's shockingly.
Yep, you do the zip. It's shockingly affordable. Thank you. We talked the other day about, the Lions lost the Zeitler character to Tennessee via free agency. Ragnow, their center, all-pro, and Pro Bowler, retired. Injuries, his body's too ravaged by injuries to play anymore. And so we threw out the question: who's got the best offensive line in the NFC North? And I'm seeing a lot of purple related stories that they've jumped him right to the very top. And I don't know if that's being Ducky and Bunny, if it's being homerish, or if you really believe it. I guess you could make an argument for it, Tennessee. They have the Packers ranked. I'm reading. This is from NFC North. This is Vikings SI, and it says Packers in the 4 spot. Their centers, Elgton Jenkins. The guards are Banks and Ryan. The tackles are Zach Tom on the right side. And then I think they're not sure it's going to be Rashid Walker or Jordan Morgan as the left tackle. Then they list the Lions as only the 3rd best. Well, this story's a little behind. They got Glasgow at center. He's out. So skip that. He had him the 3rd best with Glasgow on the team. Where would they be now? I think you could make an argument the Vikings have the best offensive line in the division, though I will say this. We've got more to go on with the 2 players that they added, right? Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, because they have a track record. They have a resume in the National Football League. McCarthy hasn't. All we know is what we know from college and high school, and he was brilliant, right? I guess for the most part. There's still those, and I'm one of those. It's not a Wednesday today, but if it was a wet blanket Wednesday, I would say, yeah, but when he was quarterbacking Michigan to a national championship, he made a lot of big throws, but they ran the ball a lot too. And he wasn't asked to, I don't even know how many games they won with his arms, where it's like, I got to make a drive, and I'm taking the team down the field. I'm sure there were a handful. But he does seem to have all the tools from what we've been able to gather, right? I don't think he's the biggest quarterback in the world, but he's not... he's
not Kyler.
Yeah, he's not Kyler.
He's not Drew Brees.
He's not Drew Brees, but he's got a little bit of size, and he's got a howitzer hanging from his right arm, apparently. So he's got talent, but we have less to go on him as a pro, because he has played as a pro, as we do with Kelly and Fries. And again, if those 2 guys can stay healthy, they should add a lot of punch to the middle of the lineup, to the middle of the offensive line. So, no, it is. I'm sorry, it is right. Glasgow was going to go at center. I said Ragnow. Ragnow retired. Yes. Glasgow's at center. This is an up-to-date story. So Glasgow at center, and he's played there a couple of times, but he's not. That's not his normal position. So you could make a case that the Vikings have the best offensive line, but we'll have to see how those guys come back from injury, correct?
Yeah, come back, and can they stay healthy? Right. It's kind of surreal, isn't it? They talk about the Vikings having best line in the NFC North, and some are even predicting top 3 offensive line in all of football. And even the Bears, right? Like the Bears and Vikings historically have just not had great, I should say recently, because the Vikings have had good offensive lines in the past. But in recent memory, the Vikings offensive line, they haven't been known for it. Bears have had terrible offensive lines, and then they've both made upgrades, and all of a sudden they're jumping ahead of the Packers and ahead of the Lions. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, and it's been, I think most people that have, you and I included, because we follow the Vikings relatively close. It's been every year. It's been an issue for them for as long as I can remember, right? Except if you go back, like I think to the 98, they had a really good offensive line, and I think even in 2009 their offense was good. So their offensive line, like you say, it's never always been awful, but it seems like the last 4, 5, 6 years or so, it's been every time we start talking about the draft or free agency is got to do something about the offensive line. It seems like that's just a continuing story over and over again. And so maybe it's fixed.
I feel like the last 2 years, the Vikings offensive line's been just kind of mediocre.
Right.
It hasn't been, it was bad against the Rams in the playoffs, but overall, the last 2 seasons, I don't think it was an awful offensive line, but a couple years before that, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. So,
but they've had quality tackle play when healthy the last couple of years with Darisaw and O'Neal. It's just been that interior.
Sorry, I got distracted by. I think we might have some breaking news I can get to in a little bit. What do they call that on the bottom of the TV?
The ticker?
The ticker kind of a thing. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. Peek at the Purple. There you go. Brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Again, if you're looking for a safety inspection, it's worth it. Their licensed experts will inspect your wiring, outlets, panel, and more to catch issues before they become a problem. So get proactive. Reach out to Affordable Electric today. Their website's easy. Affordable-electric.com. affordable-electric.com. And remember, affordable electric is shockingly affordable.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at public.com. Go to public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at public.com/disclosures.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out, but no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
So you want to start a business. You might think you need a team of people and fancy tech skills, but you don't. You just need GoDaddy Aero. I'm Walton Goggins, and as an actor, I'm an expert in looking like I know what I'm doing, even when I don't. And I like the sound of starting my own business, Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses. But I'm an actor. I don't know what I'm doing. I needed help. GoDaddy Aero uses AI to create everything you need to grow a business. It'll make you a unique logo. It'll create a custom website. It'll write social posts for you and even set you up with a social media calendar. I didn't even realize I needed a social media calendar. GoDaddy Aero will take your idea that sounds good and make a business that looks like you know what you're doing. GoDaddy Aero can get your business up and running in minutes. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a plan. Get started at GoDaddy.com/Aero. That's GoDaddy.com/AIRO.
James Taylor.
Not the James Taylor bit?
No, you can go.
Oh, okay. You know, when I stumble across I don't want to say an unusual word, but the English language has hundreds of thousands of words, and some are. I'm kind of a wordsmith kind of a guy. I like words. I like off the beaten path words to describe things, and oftentimes I'll ask Timmy to Google a word so we can get a definition and a pronunciation as well. Because when I saw the injury, the bad news for the Twins, that Pablo Lopez will be out anywhere from 2 to 3 months when he suffered a grade 2 strain of the TERES major, a muscle that attaches to the scapula in his shoulder. And Teres Major, to me, sounded almost like a constellation in the sky, So I went to Google during that break, TERES, so I'd get the exact pronunciation. But then some guy who was doing the definition, he had like a thick Russian accent. So I'm not even sure what he said, but it sounds like it's Teres, I think, but I don't know. But that's the injury he has. That's the part of the body that's hurt, and he's out 2 to 3 months. Apparently, it's the same condition that Joe Ryan had last year. And the prognosis is apparently the same. Ryan's was season ending, but that's because his came later in the season. Because we haven't even reached the halfway point, it's a 2 to 3 month thing. So again, if all ends, if all goes well, if all ends well, that ends well, whatever that old saying is I'm looking for. If the recovery is the same, the usual recovery time, if it goes by the book, then he would be ready to return to the starting lineup sometime late in the year. With him out, for how many starts do you think he misses then if he's out 3 months? He's starting once every 5 games. So how many starts is that? 6 a month? 7 a month? How many is that a month, roughly?
Sure, yeah, 5. Let's say 5 a month.
Let's say 6.
5-6 months,
Let's just say 6. So that's, if you miss 3 months, at 18 starts. In other words, without him in the starting staff, when he comes back, let's say he comes back in 3 months, will it even matter if he's ready to start? Could we fall off that much? Because, I know we like to think we have the Pohlad pocket protectors. They've done this for ages when it comes to the Twins. When they talk about their farm system, I've never heard nary a discouraging word about our farm system ever, all the time. It's always, we've got one of the deepest, best farm systems in the league, and it seems like it's been that way for decades. And we have had some nice prospects come up and turn into really good Major League Baseball players. But oftentimes we've had highly regarded prospects come up and they basically turn into busts or just average players at best.
You think if we had such a highly regarded farm system that one of these years we'd have a highly regarded Major League Baseball team?
That's it. Now that I have the negatrometer up, I'll give you a little...
We do have one of the best farm systems. I love what Falvey is doing there at Target Field. He's a genius.
Well, during our Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric, I received this text message that said, was wondering how long Common was going to do Shockingly Affordable bit before he grew tired of it. They think I grew tired. No, it's because I'm very scatterbrained and I didn't have the proper button bar pulled up on the computer screen.
Yeah.
And that was only because that's the first thing I do when I come in is I log into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. I get the right computer bar. But then I started waxing nostalgic about Brown Institute with Nordo. And so by the time I started talking, it was the very final flourish of fanfare for the Common Man.
You never get tired of anything.
No, I'm going to beat that. How long do you think I'll beat that into the ground? That's why I said to him, I said, not tired at all. Didn't have the right button bar up. I'm going to beat that thing into the ground.
It's a good bit, too.
It is a good bit. Yeah. Thank you very much. I thought so.
It's a good tagline.
So, especially with, and I came up with that, Shockingly Affordable. Yeah. All right, more Amsterdam. I did. Anyway.
Leave the taglines to the professionals.
Professionals, right. Yeah. So, because we've had highly regarded pitching prospects. Remember when Slowey, Baker, who was Big Spot Scott?
Yeah, Scott Baker.
Yeah, Scott Baker. We had Big Spot Scott.
Blackburn
pitching in the dead of night. Perkins. We had this group of pitchers that there were those that were saying, the staff's got a chance to be like that Brave staff of Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, and Avery. And I don't know, they all had their moments in the big leagues, but none of them even came close to scratching the surface of that big four. And so I know we think, hey, just slip in David Festa, won't have a problem there. Who's the other guy? It's Festa. Who are the two guys that keep...
Well, Zebby pitched last night.
Yeah.
He pitched okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we basically heard at the beginning of the season, the biggest decision facing the Twins were, who do we not include in the starting rotation? We're that deep. We've got Ober, Lopez, and Ryan. We have Paddock and Simeon Woods Richardson. That was going to be our top 5. Yep. It was like, boy, Zebby and
Festa.
And Festa. I mean, tough luck for those guys. They'd be starters on any other staff in Major League Baseball. Was kind of the way it was spun. And they're talented kids, but it's going to be hard to replace Lopez, especially his 2.82 ERA is going to be really tough to replace.
Yeah.
And maybe Matthews can continue to grow and blossom. I'm sure you can't expect any of these guys to be brilliant start after. Even Ryan had a little bit of a clunker the other day. There are going to be days when you don't have your best stuff, and the other team you're playing's got big league hitters that are maybe on a bit of a roll, and you're going to get roughed up a little bit. But I think losing Lopez is certainly going to be a I don't think it's the death knell for the club, but it certainly is worth watching because somebody's going to have to pick up the slack, and that's either going to be Matthews. They were thinking it was going to either be between Matthews. I'm getting them confused. It's
Zebby Matthews, David Festa.
Yeah, and Festa. Yeah, they were either going to bring up Festa or they were going to bring up Simeon Woods Richardson, but I don't think they're ready to.
They brought up Festa today. They recalled Festa from AAA.
So, and it was either going to be Festa or Simeon Woods Richardson, and they decided to go with Festa, and we'll see how that plays out as time goes.
Well, at least Major League Baseball playoffs in 2025, when half the league gets in.
Yep.
It's a little bit easier to you can play 500 ball up until that point, and you're still going to be in the mix for a playoff spot. So
correct.
It's not like now. Catching the Detroit Tigers when you're down 6 games without Pablo, that's a little bit more daunting. But by the time Pablo comes back, you should still be at least in the mix for a playoff spot.
And when he comes back, it's almost like making a trade, right?
That's what they're going to go with at the trade deadline.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they'll say. They pull out pocket protectors. Instead, if the Twins sit on their hands like they generally do, instead of admonishing them for it, say, why wouldn't it? Don't you think it's the age of Aquarius here? Why don't you go grab somebody? They'll go, well, they didn't need to because getting Pablo Lopez back was just like making a trade, which is the most, I'll just use most preposterous logic I think there is. It's not the same. You're getting a guy back that was already on the roster. You're really not adding to your roster from outside. That's what you do with a trade. A trade is when you acquire someone that hasn't been on your team that you hope will help your team, not somebody that's been on the IL for 2 or 3 months. It's two different things. The National Hockey League playoffs got underway last night, and I guess Connor McDavid is not overrated, and I guess the Draisaitl character is pretty good too.
They're both pretty good.
I think that now. Do I have this right? Because I didn't watch. Deuce turned it on. I watched bits and pieces of it, but I was falling asleep. Did McDavid score right away, or was it Draisaitl right away in the first period within a minute?
I did not watch the game, but I believe Draisaitl scored 66 seconds in.
So he scores 66 seconds in. Then McDavid has a perfect pass on goal number 2, and then
they were down 3-1,
right? And then what was it? The game winner was that that
was a power play goal by Draisaitl, set up by McDavid,
right,
in overtime,
and that's why they're about the best 1-2 punch in the National Hockey League. Would you say?
Well, yes. I mean, McDavid is the best player in the world, and Draisaitl's won scoring titles and MVPs. So. And they're extremely dynamic on the power play, which you saw in that last power play goal. That, Florida was, I did see the highlight of the goal at least. Florida extremely aggressive on the penalty kill and got themselves in Edmonton put themselves in a position where it's McDavid, Draisaitl, basically a little 2-on-1 in a small area. And, that is not who you want to give up the 2-on-1. And that's by brilliant. Your favorite term, saucer pass by McDavid, and Draisaitl's been knocking home McDavid passes on the power play for a long time.
Do you think Rosen will give me a chance to get out of that $5 bet for like $4? Because I think I'm in some trouble. I didn't think it through. Of course, it's not over. It's only game 1, but
my favorite was when you guys were making the bet. It almost seemed like Rosen was trying to get odds out of you because, well, I'm sure Florida's the favorite. Like, well, no, they're not the favorite.
Right.
Edmonton's a slight favorite.
Yeah, and Edmonton's a slight favorite, and they showed why. They won slightly less.
They have been just the comeback kids the entire playoffs. I mean, they did it again last night where they were down 2 goals. They've had multiple times within series, within games, where they need to get multiple goals to come back, and there's just not a team in the NHL that has the offensive firepower they do.
WNBA We talked about it yesterday. Liberty at 7-0.
Liberty.
The Lynx are at 8-0. Commissioner's Cup is taking place right now. Is that what they call the NBA one too? Is it also the NBA? Is it a Commissioner's Cup? I think they have the same name. Where it's not even a mid-season tournament; it's an early tournament, and I think really the whole idea of it is because I think the NBA as a league realizes that early in the season teams kind of just mail it in. They're going at 3/4 throttle at best. This is a way to try to get them to try a little bit harder. Let's entice them by let's have some phony trophy and some walking around money for an incentive and get them to maybe play a little harder and create some interest with the fans as well. The WNBA is doing the same thing, and here's what I saw it tend to be. Commissioner's Cup. The WNBA will play its annual in-season tournament over the next few weeks. Each team will play the other teams in their conference one time during that window. The West will have 6 games with the addition of expansion team Golden State. The East will play 5. The teams with the best record in each conference will face off in the title game. The winning team receives a $500,000 cash prize pool to divvy up.
Nice.
So $500,000. Did we say how many are on the roster? Is it 15 on a WNBA roster? So you do the math. I can't. That's some walking around money for the young ladies. But then I also saw, here's what it says, winning team receives a $500,000 cash prize pool to divvy up as well, as each player on that squad will get $5,000 in cryptocurrency from Bitcoin. Now, I know I'm slow. I mean, I don't even know how to use Workday.
According to Link's website, they only have 11 players on the team.
11 players. So that's, it's a nice little extra.
A little under 50 apiece.
Each player will also on the winning squad will get $5,000 in cryptocurrency from Bitcoin. I'm always late to the party, to be. I still don't know how to do Workday. I still type with just one finger. I'm a finger typer, with a hunt and peck kind of a thing. For the longest time, I used, like Rosen still does, a calendar that you actually open up. A physical calendar which you'd write into. So I don't understand. Do you know what cryptocurrency is without getting it too detailed, or do you not know what it is either? I've heard it. I've heard like it's all the rage, but then I think I've heard it's a scam, and I don't know what to believe.
I don't think anyone knows.
But what is cryptocurrency? Do you know what it is?
I'm not going to act like I know. It's digital. That's all I know.
Yeah, and
digital money of some sort.
Digital money, and then I
feel like it's like
because I was hoping you would know, because I don't, and it's not like I really want to. I was just wanting to know out of curiosity. I don't think it's anything I want to become involved in, but I was just wondering what it's all about. It sounds almost to me like it's some kind of a pyramid.
I have not invested in it because I'm not knowledgeable enough about it.
Yeah. So,
and I too don't want to be scammed.
So each player will get, I don't know what's more valuable, getting in, a chunk of the $500,000 or getting $5,000 in cryptocurrency from.
Could you just sell it right away, I guess? You probably could. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. But for instance, if the station said to you, we'll give you a bonus and we'll pay you in cryptocurrency, I'd say I'd rather have cold hard cash. I really don't know if I want crypto. But then I wonder, am I missing out on something, right?
I was going to say the amount I'm making, it might just be better to just take a risk at cryptocurrency and hope that it goes through the roof.
What is... I'm going to ask Grok AI, what is cryptocurrency? It's a digital or virtual currency uses cryptography for security, allowing transactions to be recorded on a blockchain. I'm out already. What the hell's a blockchain? What's cryptography and what's blockchain? It operates independently of a central bank or government, making it a peer-to-peer system where transactions are verified by the network rather than a third party. Cryptocurrencies are digital, meaning they exist only in the computer network and have no physical form. Well, then what's it worth? Decentralized. Unlike traditional currencies, cryptocurrencies are not controlled by a central authority like a government or bank. Blockchain technology, its transactions are recorded on a blockchain, a secure and distributed ledger that's difficult to tamper with. Encryption is used to secure transactions and verify ownership, ensuring that they can be sent and received securely. Cryptocurrencies allow for direct transactions between individuals without the need for intermediaries like banks. There's no central entity that issues or controls cryptocurrencies, making them a decentralized system. It's too confusing for me, man. I don't trust it. It's like a this person says, in other words, it's a scam. That's the way I look at it.
I always love that one.
Bitcoin is a giant pump and dump scheme. Big holders convince people to dump money into it, inflating the value and then selling, leaving smaller fish holding the bag. In other words, it sounds like it's a pyramid scheme to me.
Yeah.
Which if you're in on the front end of a pyramid scheme, I think it's good. Yeah. But if you're on the back end, it's really bad. Here's someone says, paper money is imaginary also. Anything just has the value people put on, which is true. Well, that's why I've always understood. They say the one thing you can always invest in the value never goes down, is gold. But what if I were to take my life savings, which is not a lot. I don't have a lot. I haven't got a lot of money. And I were to buy nothing but gold bars. Well, what do I do with? I can't bring gold bars to Kowalski's. They're not going to sell me.
No.
And then, what do you cut off? You peel off a piece of it. I don't know why gold is so valuable because, and I guess the same thing could be said for money, but I don't think I'm going to get into they're all saying, think of it as decentralized banking. You cut out the corporate middleman. I think I like the corporate. Oh, here's one. Crypto is a big way people launder money. Drug cartels, big time. So you can launder money that way. Yeah, that's why it's one of those things where here's one. It says, crypto is just like a digital stock coin. It has values that fluctuate anywhere from hundreds of millions of dollars. This one says, someone once explained it to me that made perfect sense. Then a second later, I lost it. Well, that's what I think too. Even if you tried to explain it to me, I don't think it sounds like to me, like a lot of things, you want to be in on at the very beginning. Because the longer it goes, the greater chance there is of things going wrong, right? So if you come up with something, like Pet Rock Guy. Did we read about this on the air, or did it maybe, I can't remember what I've done on air or off air. I thought you and I looked it up, or somebody did. Maybe it was Blake Moore when he filled in for you. And the guy that came up with Pet Rock made like $4 or $5 million.
You've got to be kidding me.
It was one of the greatest. It was one of the, it's just a brilliant idea for people that didn't have a dog or a cat. Well, we'll just have this little rock and we'll put them in some, those, that stuff you put in an Easter basket?
Sure.
What is that, squiggly paper or whatever it is? He had a little tiny little like fake pet crate with a little of that squiggly paper in there and a rock, and we're selling them for like $9.95, and people were buying them.
I always love that one.
And he made 4 or 5. I think he's from North Dakota. I think we found out, and he's living high on the hog now. And that's why that saying came around. What's going to be my pet rock? I need to come up with my pet rock idea.
How about Common Man meme coin?
Pray tell.
Cryptocurrency that originated from an internet meme and has some other humorous characteristics. Design your own Common Man meme coin.
I tried that with a book. That didn't go particularly well. I did sell close to 5,000 copies, but matter of fact, over 5,000 copies, but I don't know. I think I'll leave the cryptocurrency two others, though. There apparently, here says, also, no, they cut out the corporate middleman. I'm getting a lot of, they're coming at breakneck speeds. They cut out the corporate middleman in the Federal Reserve and add an incredible amount of volatility into the economy. This one says, the previous texter is right that money only has value because we agree it does, but there's a key difference. U.S. dollar is backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, while cryptocurrency is backed by ... vibes. Here's another comment. I think you'd be better off in the long run putting money in the S&P 500 in your 401k versus gold in the long run. Just my take from a federal worker as passport guy. Here's one that says, I'm putting all my money into chia pets. That was another great one. Remember the chia pet thing? Chia. That people would buy. Oh, you have this little thing that grows hair. And somebody made sometimes the simplest, stupidest ideas, a.k.a. meat sauce, are what really become valuable. I mean, meat sauce is, I didn't say it, Brian Oak did. He's the most important person in this company.
I always love that one.
And if he is, this company's in real trouble. Right? Tenemy?
Big time trouble, yeah.
Yeah, big time trouble. Someone actually said, which is smarter, a pet rock or meat sauce? Well, meat sauce, his IQ is about 3 points higher than a rock, so good for him. We'll pause. When we return, 534, Tenemy with a tease, please.
Will the Pacers get thunderstruck?
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at public.com. Go to public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at public.com/disclosures.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.